Welcome to the Muscles and Veggies podcast. This is nutrition, health, fitness, perfectly packaged into a bite-sized podcast to help educate and motivate you to stay on your fitness journey. What are we talking about today? Today we are talking about alcohol. Is it killing your fat burning potential? Is it killing your fat loss progress? Well, society and commercialism have painted a picture for us that it's normal to drink on a daily basis. It's normal to have a drink every time you watch a football game or every time you watch some kind of sporting event, or it's normal to come home every night after work and have a drink. USA Today says the average American has 1.35 drinks per day. That was in 2017. Now it's up to 1.95 drinks per day. We actually saw during the pandemic a large increase in alcohol consumption. This is staggering stats when it comes to drinking alcohol, not to mention that 40% of US adults are obese, another 30% are in the overweight category. That means that 70% of the 400 million US Americans walking around are either obese or overweight. My last show, in case you didn't tune in, was two of the biggest factors in combating obesity. So check that one out if you haven't listened already. But what about alcohol? We didn't talk a lot about that in the obesity podcast. So how does it affect fat loss? Well, first we have to understand carbohydrates, fats, and proteins are the normal caloric density that makes up our nutrition every day, right? Well, primarily proteins are building blocks, which means fats and carbohydrates are our fuel sources. You could think of it this way. Fats are a slow burning, long lasting fuel. Those are like logs on the fire. Whereas carbohydrates, they are more like fast burning fuels, kind of like throwing paper on a fire. We burn through them very quickly. If we're not using them, guess what we do with them? We store them. So to understand how those things work, we have to understand where alcohol fits into the picture when it comes to fats, carbohydrates, and even proteins to some extent. So alcohol, therefore, in the blood does not actually cause a lot of fat gain by itself. Only 3% of calories from alcohol get stored as fat. However, in combination with food, alcohol takes priority in the blood to get digested, so to speak. That means that whatever calories we have alongside that alcohol in the form of fats and carbohydrates are more likely to get stored as fat. And the reason why is because alcohol is considered a sugar alcohol, right? Sugar alcohol elicits an insulin response. Insulin is what takes our carbohydrates and our fats and processes them in the blood. They either shuttle them into the fat cells to get stored away, or they shuttle them into an active cell to get used immediately for energy. But alongside alcohol, there's a reason why alcohol is referred to as you get intoxicated. That's because alcohol in the blood is actually a toxic substance. So that's why you become intoxicated, much like those who have actually been in the hospital for alcohol poisoning, because it's a toxin to some extent. In low doses, it has a good hormetic response that's actually healthy for us. But in high doses, we become intoxicated and it becomes toxic to the body. So the body has to process that alcohol out of the blood before it can process fats and carbohydrates, because they're not a toxic substance to us like alcohol is. So it takes priority in the digestive process. This means that alongside calories from fats and carbohydrates, the body is more likely to immediately store those as fat. The body's very efficient. It's not going to waste those calories. It's going to save those for a later time. And how it does that is primarily storing them in fat. So let me paint a picture for you. Let's say you're on a 2,000 calorie per day diet. what this means is consumed alongside alcohol. Let's say you're maintaining your weight at 2,000 calories. Consumed alongside alcohol, that same 2,000 calories would be more likely to store away some of those calories as fat because it's got to process that alcohol first. This is why I will say, if somebody said, Zach, we'll give you $100,000 to become obese as fast as you can, the number one thing I would start doing is consuming processed food. And the number two thing I would start doing is consuming processed food alongside alcohol, because it's a perfect recipe to store a lot of body fat. And that's also because alcohol elicits a strong insulin response. And insulin is what shuttles things into the fat cell. So this is also why alcoholics tend to get fatty liver disease because of this chronically elevated insulin that comes along with drinking too much alcohol. So what are some tips now that we've painted the picture for why alcohol is a problem, obesity, and fat loss? What are some tips that we can do? Well, I recommend this to all my clients, and most of the people who listen to this are my clients. So if you're not at your goal weight and you have a lot of weight to lose, I recommend no more than 0 to 1 drinks per month socially. If you're a client that's closer to their goal weight, maybe you're within 20 to 30 pounds of your goal weight, 1 to 2 drinks per week with no food. And it's also socially, not by yourself. And we're going to talk more about why I keep saying that. And then clients, of course, at their desired body composition, you're at your goal weight, you're at a lean weight, you're not in the overweight or obese category. 1 to 3 drinks per week socially is a good rule of thumb. No more than 3 drinks at a time, no more than 3 drinks per week, and do it with your friends and family. Here are some other ones. Try not to consume alcohol alongside calorically dense meals. This is, again, a recipe to store more of those calories as fat. Try not to consume carbs or fats along with your drink. So a rum and Coke, that would be an example of including sugar alongside your alcohol. You're going to store those extra calories in the form of sugar. It's just going to get shuttled away in the fat cells. Also, no drinking past 7 p.m., right? We want our blood sugar and our insulin to be very regulated and low before we go to bed, because primarily the majority of our fat burning takes place when we are sleeping. So we don't want to disrupt that by drinking or eating too close to bed. And we talked a lot about that in the last few podcasts. Also, no drinking alone. Studies consistently show that drinking alone is way more correlated to be likely of self-medication than drinking socially and with your friends and family. So try to save drinking, even if you're at your goal weight, or let's say you liked having a glass of wine or a drink or a beer or whatever. Try to save those for occasions when you're with friends and family that you can enjoy that with them. You guys are visiting and having a good time. So I'm eventually going to do a whole show on stress management, because I do feel like alcohol is used to manage stress and self-medicate in a lot of examples. And we should have a healthy, robust stress management routine that doesn't involve external substances like alcohol. So stay tuned for that. I hope this helps put alcohol into perspective, not just from a fat loss standpoint, but also from the standpoint of dealing with stress in a healthy way and putting alcohol in its proper place. It has a proper place in a nutritious, healthy lifestyle, just not misused or unmoderated. So thank you for spending your valuable time with me today here at Muscles and Veggies Fitness. If you'd like to support the show, one thing you can do is share this with somebody who's also wanting to start a fitness or lifestyle journey in health and wellness. The other thing you can do is hit the like button if you're on YouTube. Share this with a friend. You can also get some awesome supplements. These are the same supplements that I use. This is at thorne.com, THORNE, thorne.com/u/muscles, /u/muscles. You can get a discount there by using the same supplements that I use. I use them because the Golden State Warriors NBA basketball team uses them. The USA Olympic teams use them. They are the best supplements on the market. You don't have to wonder about if they're verified that they have what they say they are and what they're tested for. That's because they are third-party tested and triple verified. Thorne.com/u/muscles. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day.